Good morning, Michael. Was that Stevie Wonder or who was that? That was Keith Jarrett. Memories of Tomorrow is what that's called, yeah. That's Stevie Wonder. Let's see. Let's do A Child Is Born. By the way, birthday song today. We get to sing Happy Birthday tonight. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well on this hot June day. If you're able to, please rise and join us in a spirited singing of Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed. And good morning. I'm Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed. Everywhere and always I'm Spirit-Led. I'm Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed. Everywhere and always I'm Spirit-Led. Flowing like a river of peace. I am nature's wandering child. Love could not be added to me. I'm made complete. I'm Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed. Everywhere and always I'm Spirit-Led. I'm Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed. Everywhere and always I'm Spirit-Led. There's magic in every day, like a beautiful song. Now we're choosing our way. There's a voice inside. God is alone. Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed. Everywhere and always we are Spirit-Led, Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed. Everywhere and always we are Spirit-Led. We are Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed. Everywhere and always we are Spirit-Led, Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed. Everywhere and always we are Spirit-Led. Everywhere and always we are Spirit-Led. Everywhere and always we are
Gentlemen of the musician party over there. You may be seated. Hello, good morning. Thank you for being here. So good to see your beautiful faces, your smiling faces, your open hearts full of love, your consciousness that's waiting to just be fed and open and able to just shine and radiate that light out to others and to the world. And to my left here is Chris Eagle, who is our service leader for today. He's going to be, leading us in the meditation and all kinds of good things. And I want to say hello to those of you who are joining us online, Facebook or YouTube. Thank you for being here. Please, just say hello so we know that you're there and we can feel a little more connected to you. You can feel connected to us. Just put it in the chat. Hey, hi, I'm here. How's it going? All right, so let's just take a moment. We're going to light the Divine Light candle and the other candle that represents our prayers for those affected by the war in Ukraine. And let's also include, the schools and the churches and the grocery stores and all of the places where there's been some tragedy. Prayers there. Okay, so if you would join me in the opening invocation, which is on that buff sheet in the seat back in front of you, if you're not yet familiar. Take a moment and find that. Take a moment and connect in with your heart center, breathing into that space. Together, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. Let's just breathe that in for a moment. And feel the energy that brings as we open our consciousness to this idea of omnipresent good, omnipresent love, right where we are. Right here, now, in this moment. We just need to open and accept, and we do so now. And so it is.
I surrender. I trust.
Live streaming, because you probably have all kinds of more distractions than even we do in worship. And if you're sitting, if you would clear your laps of anything that doesn't. Let's just notice that. Notice the inhale. Notice the top of the breath. Notice the bottom of the breath. So there are these pauses that happen all the time. And also, in that, just allow yourself to feel your heartbeat, what is moving through you, and all of your body, every last part of it. This amazing organism of trillions of cells that automatically moves everything where it needs to be in the right moment without you even thinking about it. Just allow yourself to be. And in that being, there are thoughts. Maybe they don't seem like your own, but there are these desires, these thoughts and feelings that tie themselves together that are so delicious. And maybe you're not feeling one right in this moment, but that's what you're fishing for. Just being on this calm water of beingness. And allowing that to be what bubbles up in the next few minutes in the silence. expanded awareness. If there are people, places, situations that don't yet feel connected by this presence, which truly surrounds them, would you call their names softly aloud to invite them back into the presence that is truly them? And I'm inviting Pat Webster, our trained prayer partner, to come on in and pray with the prayer box of requests representing far more than what is in that box.
Oh, divine, we're so all connected with you and in you right now. We hold the people who have placed their prayers in this box together in that place of the divine in our hearts where we are all one, where we are all held together in love. We know that in this box are prayers for relationship, abundance, prosperity, and or peace in the soul. And as we say these prayers, we also say the same for the people in Texas, in Wandy, the people in Ukraine, all the people that need thee. And we're all one. We're all one, and you have promised that when we're together as one, anything is possible and in fact done when we speak it in that place of the God space of no space, no time. And so it is. Amen.
So allowing yourself to bring that experience back into your body. Open your eyes. If it feels good, wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch. Being mindful of other beings that might be around you just in case. So it's just a friendly banter versus knocking them on the nose. And would you connect with your eyes with at least 2 other divine beings? If you're in the room, I see at least 30 of them. And if you're live streaming, I'm sure there are a few beings, and I'll connect with you as well. All right. So those of you live streaming, you are not seeing these wonderful connections that I am seeing, which is personally one of my favorite things to witness. So we've got some good stuff going on here. Would you all join me in our vision and mission, which is either on the order of service, which is the buff sheet, or on the front of the program, or on the screen if you're live streaming. And let's say those together, really feeling them move us. Our vision: we envision the divine light awakening in all. Our mission: we center in peace and love. We connect in our hearts with others. We celebrate our journey toward wholeness, and we empower others to experience their spiritual magnificence. And so it is. All right. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce Kara Rezegi as our special musician. Yeah. And she has put together, yes, I'm kidding. Use that mic? This one's not working? No, that one's working. Okay. So, the microphones are not in divine order yet. We'll get that by the end of However, she has brought an amazing band with us who may look very familiar.
We are very lucky to have Kara Rezegi come and be our soloist on Sunday mornings, and she'll be here most Sundays, keeping Andres and me together and helping us stay, bringing beauty to the stage. So anyway, give her a round.
Thank you all.
And she is very funny. She's very funny. Her humor is very, very funny. All right.
If you're busy counting calories, you'll never taste the food. If you're looking at the night, you'll miss the sunrise. If you curse the rain, you'll never see the flowers bloom. Listen for mistakes and miss the beauty of the tune. Every day you're gonna find just what you look for. We create the world we live in. So when you look for good, good's what you'll be given. Who could ask for more? Who could ask for more? When you give attention to what's working in your life, you will soon forget about complaining. When you have the vision to look deeper than one's skin, open up the door to find the friend that lives within. Every day you're gonna find just what you look for. We create the world we live in.
Gorgeous day. Here we go. Now we're on. So, in 1955, a good year, Crockett Johnson wrote this children's book that was later turned into an animated series called Harold and the Purple Crayon. Any of you remember that? I kind of remember it when I was a kid, but I definitely made sure that my kids watched it, the reruns on like PBS Kids when they were growing up. The story is about a curious little boy who creates his world simply by drawing it with a purple crayon, his magic purple crayon. And I just thought that that was a good message to sort of give kids that they participate in creating their world. So today we're going to be talking all about creativity, the creative process, how to participate in it, how to make it work for us. And before you say, well, I'm not creative because, I don't write poetry or I don't draw or I don't play a musical instrument, I will tell you that, that creative process doesn't necessarily involve any of those things. And secondly, we're all creative, right? We're engaged in the creative process just about every moment of our lives, whether we know it or not. because our thoughts and our beliefs are creative. They are our purple crayon. I'm hearing an echo over there. Our thoughts, our beliefs, they're our purple crayon, right? And so, that creative activity of our mind contributes to how our day unfolds, how we react to what's present, how we can continue with our lives. It's the context of our lives. Now, unfortunately, most of the time it's unconscious. It's by default because we're unaware of it, because we've forgotten that life doesn't happen to us, that life happens through us. Most people believe that life happens to them, right? And we forget that life is being created through us at every moment. Life is being created through the filter of our consciousness, of our core beliefs, of our unhealed wounds, as we were reminded of, right, last week when we had our special guest, Esther Nicholson, who was here, reminded us of that. So because we're unaware of it, we unconsciously create the same the same health challenges, the same relationship problems over and over. And all the while, there is a new idea that is waiting to be birthed through us, a new, more joyous, more expansive idea that is waiting to be created through us. So how do we do that? How do we let go of the stuff that's filtering in all of the good? Let go of that and then begin to just create fresh, create anew. Well, I think if we, take a cue from artistically creative people and, see their process, observe their process, I think that can be helpful for us. So when you ask most artists how they came up with an idea for a painting or the story, the screenplay that they wrote, or a song that they created, or a piece of pottery that they made, very often you'll hear, well, it just came to me, or I saw it in my mind, or I heard it in my inner ear. Some people say that it came to them in a dream. Some people say that they just pulled it out of the ethers. So when I asked our music director, Chris Whiteneck, how he comes up with the ideas for songs that he does, he told me that he gets an idea for a feeling he wants to convey. He starts with that, a feeling he wants to convey. And then he sits down at the piano and works out the chord changes that sort of express that feeling. Is that about right? And he also said, sometimes it's a process that takes time, that it takes a while. It's not always immediate. And, as a writer, I know that. And, many of you who do write, you know that you can be sitting in front of a blank screen for, a day and a half and nothing's coming. You have this kind of amorphous idea of what you want to say, but it takes a while to get all those, right words that express that idea to kind of fly in the right formation. But then if you stay with it, right? If you're disciplined and you stay with it, then suddenly the words begin to flow and more begins to flow, right? And then it's, whoa, now you're in the flow and you can't stop. I know when my husband was in the creative process of writing something and, like it's time for dinner or it's time to help, with the dog or the kids or something like that. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm in the zone. I'm in the flow. I can't stop right now. I got this process going, right? Just, you got to give yourself over to it. You got to give yourself to the process. It's a creation that sort of takes on a life of its own. Of course, it involves us. An artist has an idea for a painting, right? Chris Geith back there, you're an artist. You know this, right? So you have an idea, but you need to have the right paintbrushes. right? And the right colors that you want to share, that you want to express your feeling or your idea. And if you don't have those colors, you got to go to the store and get them. And then you have to prepare the canvas. And then you have to, do the work. Or a woodworker who has an idea for, a really cool table. But he's got to go out and get the wood, and use the saw and fit in the legs and sand it down. So it's a co-creative thing, right? The creative process needs us. Creative process needs us. So how many of you saw the Peter Jackson documentary on the Beatles that came out a year or so ago called Get Back? Is that a couple of you? It was it was during the pandemic, so like lockdown, so you had the time to watch it. It was fascinating to see, first of all, the relationship of these four lads, that everybody knew, and their relationship as they were kind of ending the collaboration. And it was also fascinating to see the creative process in real time. Right? It's in real time. That's why it was so long. There was, 3 or 4 different segments that were 3 hours each. So very long. But you see the process. And it was interesting at first because there was so much tension in the room. There was a lot of resentment. I mean, this is kind of at the end of, they were, just about to break up. So there was a lot of tension, a lot of resentment. Some people didn't want to be there. George Harrison did not want to be there and walked out at some point. And it felt like Paul McCartney was the only one taking it seriously. And so nothing was coming together. Nothing was gelling, right? And then when they went back to their Apple recording studios, which was their home ground, right? Their own stomping grounds, it's like they relaxed and got real comfortable. And then suddenly they started to get playful. And that old, those relationships of that playful, creative thing, that magic that they had together sort of began to, you could see it. It was happening. And they got goofy and silly. And somebody brought their kid and they were chasing the kid around and dancing with it. And they were, just stream of consciousness, nonsensical lyrics, especially John Lennon. He was like really crazy stream of consciousness lyrics that he was just sharing, so silly. And fortunately, a lot of those stayed on the album. You can hear a lot of those. They kept it on the album, which is really fun to see. So it felt like the more playful they got, the more it started to flow. The more the songs began to gel and come together. They still had to pick up their instruments and work out the chords and work out when the drums are coming in and when where the harmonies are going to be. But it was that process of just being free and silly and playful and getting in the zone, getting in that creative zone. Right? It's that playful, joyous energy that we are, that we're really looking for. I felt like that was a really important lesson, that the more playful we get, the more we allow those ideas to flow from that infinite creative source, that field of all possibilities, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't work as well when you're serious, or when there's any kind of resentment there, or any kind of negativity in the back of your mind. Doesn't work as well. It seems to block the flow, right? So also we want to stay curious. Want to stay curious. Curiosity leads to the best inventions and discoveries, right? So that energy of staying curious and staying playful. So let's take that then. Whenever we want to create something new, right? We want to create something new in our lives, a new experience. We're tired of recreating the same limited experience over and over again. Phew, done with that. We're going to create something new, A new experience now. Okay, so we want to get in the energy of the creative flow. We want to be playful. We want to have a sense of joy about it. It wants to be uplifting. We want to feel that creative energy. So, I always say it's not about the specific words that you use in affirmative prayer or the images that you put on your vision board. It's the feeling that those things evoke. That's what you're going for, the feeling that those things evoke, right? You want to be playful and fun and have a sense of joy about it. You want to get into the energy of the experience. You want to be in the energy of the experience that you're creating. The energy of the experience that you're creating. That's the most important part of this whole thing, right? You want to feel, what is it you're creating? Maybe it's a relationship. I want to get into that energy field of love and connection. Is it abundance? I want to get in that energy field of limitless good. Is it health and well-being? I want to get into that energy field of vibrancy and feel that vibrant energy within me. Do you see what I'm saying? Getting in that energy field. And, it can happen at the most unexpected times, really when you're least expecting it. So last week I was here and meeting with a woman who wants to do this personal growth retreat and wants to use the labyrinth. And so we met, we walked, we went outdoors, and we walked the labyrinth, and we talked out there. And then once we were done with that, we came back into my office, and we sat down and talked for a while. And then when she was ready to go, we got up and walked out the door, and she was behind me. She closed the door behind me. I didn't think anything of it. And then she leaves, and bye-bye, she's gone. Now, Debbie wasn't here because she had to go home. She's the office manager, right? You all know Debbie. She had to meet a repairman or something at her house, so she wasn't here. So when I went back into the office, my phone, my keys, my purse, everything was in that locked office. And my computer was in my car, which was locked. So I started to panic a little bit. Like, oh, where's that spare key? I know there's a spare key somewhere, and I'm looking everywhere for that spare key. No spare key anywhere. And so I thought, okay, well, I can't call anybody. I can't email anybody. Maybe I should just relax and enjoy the experience. What has the universe given me here? It could be something interesting. Why don't I pay attention? Can't do anything. Nobody's here. There was nobody here, right? Nobody. So I came into the sanctuary, and during the week, the seats are stacked up against the wall. So this is beautiful floor here, this gorgeous wood floor. And I got out and I started dancing and moving and playing. It was such nice big space, and I'm playing in this energy and just enjoying the beautiful, lush green trees that are all around here that you could see. And then suddenly the rainstorm happened. This was the day, the big storm with thunder and lightning, and the rain is coming down, and I just was so grateful. I was indoors. I was not like locked outside, and it was just like experiencing the phenomena, the weather phenomena. It was just so interesting. So I took my own good advice, and I decided to just be. Just be in that creative, I just allowed myself to just give over, right, to the moment, to the creative experience. And just be, and being with that storm. It was just so interesting in this beautiful space that I have been in how many times for the last 10, 12 years, really. And it just all became new to me in this sacred time. It became a sacred experience. And so, don't you know, that suddenly ideas began to come to me. And they started to flow. And so I hurried and I grabbed whatever paper I could find, and I got the pen from the back of the seat, and I started writing it down fast and furious as much as I could. All these ideas for talks I could give, for programs we could do, for ways that we could market here, and it just started going and flowing, and it was such a beautiful experience. And then I was sitting over there, and there's vents. I started hearing children crying and screaming and laughing and being kids from downstairs, because we have a daycare downstairs. And, there's a lot of kids there now, fortunately. And they must have woken up from their nap, and they were really getting loud. And that thought came to me, oh, Anna, who runs the daycare, I could go down there and use her phone and call Debbie and ask her to come back and let me in. But the moment I had that thought, I thought, you know what, no. I'm just going to, this was so precious to me, this time, that I just wanted to continue to be here. I didn't want to interrupt it. So I just continued to stay here. And then around 5 o'clock, I thought, well, she's going to leave. I better go. I don't know if anybody's coming all night, I better. So I did finally call her, and after some time, Debbie came in and let me in, and I was reunited with my phone, my keys, and my purse, and everything. That felt good. But when I look back on it, it was such a precious time. It was such a gift. So look for those moments that the universe, it could seem like off the bat, like, ooh, this is not good. But you just never know. If you stay open to it and don't resist it, you don't know. It could be a real gift. Allow yourself to get playful with it. To get into the creative flow with it. You never know. You might birth an idea that could change the course of your life. Or the next great invention that the world has been waiting for. Again, there are ideas that are waiting to be created through us. Glorious, expansive, joyous, love-filled, abundant ideas. It's the divine urge of the universe that wants to be expressed in more joyous, more expansive ways. Always moving through us. It is us, right? It's moving through us. And you could feel that divine urge as maybe, feeling in your gut, or maybe in your heart, or maybe in your soul, or maybe a little tickle in your brain. And when you're experiencing it, when you're feeling it, don't dismiss it. How often do we dismiss things like, oh, that'll never happen. I could never do that. Or that's not the way it's usually done. Nip those thoughts in the bud. Nip them in the bud. Learn to trust. Trust this creative process. Train your brain to stay open to the field of all possibilities. Trust that creative process and know that you are co-creating with the infinite power of the universe. It is the infinite power of the universe that you are co-creating with. Not this little wimpy thing. It's powerful. It's powerful. Accept it. Be open to it. Take your rightful place as the designer of your life. Okay, so we're going to be talking more about specifics of how to do this as we go through the month. This is a theme of creativity this month. So come back, stay tuned, because we're going to go into more in the next few weeks. In the meantime, stay open, stay playful, stay in the creative flow, and enjoy. Namaste.
Did you want to say anything about the creative process?
Ask you that, yeah.
Can we check that mic one more time?
Yeah, check.
Cool. All right. This is a lovely song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments so dear, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter and strife, in 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in a life?
Measuring love.
Seasons of love, seasons of love. 525,600 minutes, 525,000 journeys to plan, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or a man? In truth that she learned, or in times that he cried, in bridges he burned, or the way that she died. It's time now to sing out, though the story never ends. Let's celebrate, remember a year in the life of a friend.
Measure the love. Measure the love. Measure the love.
Seasons of love, seasons of love, seasons of
Creativity, so I cannot resist. Thank you, Kara, Chris, and Andres. That was very heart-filling for me. And evidently I'm in the resonant zone of something here. Try here. Stand on the edge. So this is the point in our service, I think it's that mic, that we get to share our creative energy with this community. One of the forms that we have created as humans is called currency, but it is truly a creative energy that represents, it's a transaction. And it can be done in various ways. My preference is in love and wisdom, and I invite you into that as well. And you can think of all the things that come through this community that you have received, but you are also putting your energy into this community to birth new things as well. And we have a slew of announcements so we can get into what all those are. But in this moment, I'm inviting you, however you do that, there's all kinds of options that you can see in your program or on the screen. If you're a conscious sustainer, you can use the green card. But I am inviting you to really hold that this is your world that you're creating through Unity Center of Peace. So would you join me in our affirmation that is on the buff sheet or order of service, holding whatever representation of your gift that you have, and let's really feel and invoke that together. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am.
I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much good can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much good I can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am happy, I'm joyful, I am happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much peace I can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am
All right, you ready for the next step? Yes. All right. Aim your hands at these bowls, because this is our joint energy. This is our joint creativity. Birthing, augmenting, enhancing this community and going out to everyone on this planet. So this energy doesn't sit still. It moves. And because of the love, the wisdom, the essence that we have put into this energy that might be on the books as currency, wherever it goes, it multiplies those facets for everyone and everything it touches. It goes into this system called the economy, moves through everyone and everything, and cycles back to us, renewed, invigorated, and refreshing in the ways that we need. And by the way, it amplifies. And so it is.
Not sure if that's okay. Yeah, so I just want to thank you all for being here today and being here. If you're online, if you found us for the first time today, we would just love to say hello. Just kind of put your name in the chat, and our wonderful greeter will provide you with any information that you might want to know about us. And if you have found us for the first time today here, if you would just raise your hand, and our wonderful greeter, Mary, will put a packet of information in your hand that has a little card on the outside. If you'll fill it out on both sides and return it to Mary or one of us, there's a free gift in there for you. And after the service, we meet out on the deck, and it's a gorgeous day to be out there today. We've got refreshments, coffee, and all kinds of good stuff, and lots of love, lots of fellowship, lots of loving community. Okay, one more time. Yeah.
This would be an appropriate song for the relating to creative process, because as you know, at the start of a creative process, you plant a seed, and then like a plant, you have to nurture it and give it sunlight and maybe talk to it if you're into that sort of thing, and allow it to grow into something. So it's just one stanza, and we thought that it would be a nice song for you to sing along if you felt called to do so. So. Grant me courage to go within, still my wandering mind, O Lord, make fertile my heart. I want to be free, return myself to me, O Lord, together planting the seed. Grant me courage to go within, still my wandering mind, O Lord, make fertile my heart. I want to be free, return myself to me, O Lord, together planting the seed. Grant me courage to go within, still my wandering mind, O Lord, make fertile my heart. I want to be free, return myself to me, O Lord, together planting the seed. Grant me courage to go within, still my wandering mind, O Lord, make fertile my heart. I want to be free, return myself to me, O Lord, together planting the seed. Courage to go within, still my wandering mind, O Lord, make fertile my heart. I want to be free, return myself to me, O Lord, together planting the seed.
Oh, yes, we shall have a talk after the service. Well, thank you, Kara, Chris, and Andres. Doesn't that just want to get you up and move? You just cannot sit still. But the camera was not on me, thankfully, so I had my squirms to myself. It is the first of the month. And do you remember what we do on the first of the month? Birthdays, yes. We get to celebrate those who have decided to come on in to Earth on this month. So, if you're in the chat, you can put something, or if you're in the live stream, you can put something in the chat. For those of you in person, anybody here that is celebrating in June? Woohoo! All right. Brad and Michael, for sure. So, we've got a little insert because you can't throw all the names in at once. So June birthdays instead of whatever name you, or you, if you've got a name you want to put in there, fine. But let's rock it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bert. Happy birthday to you.
Those of you in person will have extra treats out on the deck. Sorry, there's no way to cram that into the live stream, so I don't think your device would be happy with it if we could figure it out. There are other announcements, and for some reason the podium has moved way over there, and I feel like I'm often somewhere else, so I'm going to be over here. So we are having a summer solstice celebration, Tuesday, June 21st. Hey, solstice, at 7 p.m. And our very own Chris Geith is Oh, you have a new title, a new minister of outdoor sacred spaces. I'm discovering this too. So. There's no definition here, I'm sorry. For those of you live streaming, Chris asked, what does it mean? Right, well, it's coming forth. So our minister of outdoor sacred spaces will give you a definition on June 21st if you show up. Perhaps. And she is joining in partnership with Katie O'Leary. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm going to Bagay? Badgley. Okay. That I would not have guessed out of the spelling. But they're going to be facilitating an outdoor fire ceremony in celebration of the summer solstice. If you've never been to a fire ceremony, if you have any inkling of liking fire, you'll want to be there. There will be more details forthcoming. So just save that date. It's not that hard. If you have any calendaring app, usually the solstice is on there, so you'll know it's coming up. All right. We're going to see children in a moment. And that's because our YFM program has kicked off, and we are looking for volunteers. So if you enjoy working with kids, you don't have to come up with all the activities. We have a YFM director that does that, but if you want to plug into that and help occasionally during the service is when they have their time as well, getting their version of sacred time, creativity, the flow. There's a sign-up sheet on the back table, or if you're live streaming and you happen to not be here, you can contact the office at unitychapelhill.org, and let us know that you want to be in on that. Also, if you have worked up knots because you've been thinking about your creativity and you can't quite figure out how to get them out, we are in luck because we have on-site chair massages after the service. Michael Safino, who is a licensed massage therapist, that's much better than what was going to come out of my mouth, will be on the back deck with his massage chair, and it's wonderful. There are lots of testimonials in the room about how that has impacted them greatly. So there's that. There's also this digital thing that we have. Well, we're not quite into the metaverse yet, but we have other things where we have a digital presence. So if you're on Facebook, like us. If you're on Instagram, follow us. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Pick the verb that works for this platform, but we are on a lot of them. And we also have emails that we send out every week, so you can get on that as well. And finally, if there's something that isn't a physical knot, but maybe a knot in your system that isn't quite letting go, we do have what we call 3-Minute Miracle. And there's a virtual version and an in-person version. And our trained prayer partner, who is also on our future minister team, very own Pat Webster, will be available in person. And are you also taking the calls as well, or is somebody else doing that?
Either I or Lorraine.
Okay. So those of you that are not here in person, if you send an email to prayer@unitychapelhill.org, which is probably on the screen, you will be, make sure you put your phone number, otherwise nothing's going to happen. You will be called back, and a trained prayer partner will pray with you to move that through your system. All right. I think it's time to bring in the children.
I am the radiant life of God, I am, I am, I am. I am the radiant life of God, I am, I am, I am. The help of God, the strength of God, vitality, energy, vim of God, I am the radiant life of God, I am, I am, I am.
Here we go. All right, let me get my microphone. Take it away. Good morning, everybody. And today, we also were upstairs learning about creativity. And we studied the first into something that the Bible starts out with creation.
And that's creativity, you know? And we talked about how that's our birthright, having that spiritual creative mind. So we read a book because where does it come from? We don't think that it comes from an idea. What to do with an idea? You create something. It's not always about art hanging in a museum. It's about continuing God's work. He said after 6 days, but then he left it up to us to create all of this. Right? And we'll continue. And not just us, every living creature knows how to create. So that's what we did. We read the book. Now I didn't get the internet set up, so we couldn't see the movie about the Harold and his purple crayon. So I let them meditate. Meditate and let them take themselves into the quiet and imagine, what would you do? What idea do you have for your purple crayon? And that's what we have. We have a water park. Woohoo! What was yours? A rainforest. Yes. So we always remember, we all create. Oh, show yours. A butterfly. Yes. Mm-hmm. So those. Yeah. So where does our creativity? Don't forget what to do with an idea. Create. Thank you.
Let's bless these children, the children within us, the children of the world. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are. And we behold the Christ in you. Mwah. All right. If you want, you can take off. And let us stand, if you're able, and join in our now I know how to start prayer of protection, thank you. I know how to start it, but I couldn't remember the title of it, with our I am statement. So, it's on that buff sheet if you don't know it. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well.